Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Um,
What's up, man?
yeah, we met at the Toronto show just briefly, right at the end there when you guys were at the merch booth. I came up
Yeah.
to you guys and said I wanted to do an interview because I loved your style, and I'm so glad we get to do that now.
Wow, I
Dude,
remember you, man.
that,
That's
that was one of our favorite shows of the run.
Really?
Actually. Yeah, as you know, we had the whole thing with the van or the RV and we barely made it there and like everyone was so kind when we did finally make it. So it was epic.
So we'll dive right in here. So my first question is, can you tell me about the first time you both had met and what the process of creating Rose Color Worlds together was?
Yeah, actually we met 7 years ago yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy. We met the night Tom Petty passed away at a little dive bar called Sassafras in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I had just moved to LA 6 weeks before that, so I was fresh here and didn't really know that many people. And the next day I got a text from Madison that was like, so today, 7 years ago, that was like, hey, you want to write tomorrow? And I'm like, let's do it. And we started writing and never stopped writing and made the band. So.
That's awesome. And I hope you guys never stop writing because I love your music. It's phenomenal.
uh,
Thank
wow.
you.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
And my next question here is Walking on the Sun came out in 2019. What was it like getting in the studio together to create this track for the first time?
Wow. So walking on the sun was a cool moment because that's when we were like, we definitely want to play rock music, which is what we grew up doing and loving it. So, yeah, we wrote that song with our friend Lenny Skolnick. Um, and we did go into a studio because now mainly we produce out of our house here, right here,
Yeah.
um, on the new stuff. But I feel like that song meant a kind of a big
Yeah,
deal to
yeah, it was a big deal for us. I mean, it was kind of like us into the world. And at the time, I would say like what we were listening to more was, I guess, a little more indie rock. And so we tend to create things that we're listening to and that inspire us. And then, the whole planet went through a global trauma bonding experiment.
Yeah.
And we all had
sure.
to we all had to figure out, who we were past that point. And it led to a lot of rediscovery.
And I will say that song specifically, um, I think was the first time the world wasn't hearing us yet, but it felt like for the first time the people around us in LA, they definitely were like, "Oh wait, there's something
Yeah,
here
this is the thing.
with this song."
Okay.
So I haven't heard that title in so long.
I was doing a little bit of research and I'm an Apple Music user, so I went as far back as I could on there and it was like,
Yeah,
ask about one of the first songs ever.
Yeah, thanks for
yeah,
bringing us back.
Yeah, of course. It's like there's a few artists I've followed their journeys since the beginning, and it's very, very unique to watch them for start out and then see where they are now. And I like seeing that with you guys too. Like I've been able to go back and see where you guys have started, and now hearing it from you guys personally, and it's interesting. I love to see growth in artists, and it's a journey. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. It's a lot of hard work, and I'm glad to see you guys are doing that hard work and it's paying off for you guys because it's phenomenal.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Of
Dude,
course.
it's really like fine, like there's duality in everything, good, bad, light, dark, the whole thing. The bottom line is like we get to play music,
Yeah.
right? So when we allow everything to kind of feel as play as much as possible, when it's us recording or shooting content or music videos or even in the studio, when it starts to feel like that dense, like you're at the tipping point on the roller coaster and it's gonna kind of take a nosedive, we go, let's go for a walk or let's literally do absolutely anything other than this and recalibrate because it should feel fun for the most part.
And that's like, I think that's what we're mainly focused on because when we first started, like when we did Walking on the Sun, it was just Ray and I in this room right here, right? Nobody knew our music. We didn't have management. We didn't have label or all these things.
Yeah.
And having a label and the team now is like so beneficial and we're so grateful. But now there's like deadlines, which is great, right? But
Yeah.
it's different than back in the day when we were working hard, but if we wanted to just like fuck off for like a week, we could do
Y-
that
Yeah.
then.
I want to say 80%, if I was putting a number, is sheer delusional belief in oneself to be able to do anything. And we're going to continue to climb and have, this is Mark, by the way.
That's
I love
okay.
that he's right in between us.
You
Mark was
might see
on
one of my
tour with us.
cats hop up.
Yeah, Mark was
Look,
on tour
he's
with us.
literally like
He's like,
host.
hi, I'm here. This is
I
my moment.
unfortunately don't have any interviews for him, but
Sorry, Mark.
It's okay.
But going back to what I was saying of just like sheer belief in oneself, I believe has gotten us just even to this point. Yes, you have to show up and do the work, but when you're enjoying it, and you're loving it so much, 14 hours in the studio, you're tired, but you're like, I got to do the thing today, and that feels really good. And so it kind of feels like going back to it feeling like play. And you got to just believe that it's possible.
And
That's
that's
so
why
much of it.
we the CD the physical CD we were selling on tour because we don't have an EP out, right? So what we did was we made a CD of everything that was out so far. But we
yeah,
named it the Delusional Obsession because of that.
At first, we were like, do we call it the origin or like step one? Like, we wanted it to feel like this in the beginning, kind of, without saying in the beginning. And so we were like, well, what did we need to get to this point? Like, what was the basis? And it was like being delusionally obsessed that it was going to happen.
yeah,
Like our dream a year ago was to just be on tour, right? And then we got our first tour with the Dangerous Summer, where you saw us.
yeah.
And you wouldn't have known about us if not for that. So like our dreams are coming true every day, and we're just trying to be present in it and just help as many people as we can along the way feel less alone.
And I'm like, really excited to see what you guys are gonna come up with next. Like, I'm itching.
Well, we can tell you a new single's coming on the 22nd. So
Okay,
in
awesome.
20 days, or yeah, 19 days, or whenever this ends up airing. But October 22nd. And then we will be dropping an EP at the beginning of the year that has some of these singles on it, plus a couple more. So
Okay, sweet.
And then we are working on our first ever album right now. So
yeah,
we're
because the
very
EP's done,
excited.
it's been done for a minute, and then, we toured this summer, and now we've just been pretty much writing the record and living life and learning how to be home when we're not on the road. It has been a little challenging, but taking all of that energy and kind of making different types of art with it and content and things that, we can't do when we're out there. So,
Because when we came home from tour, we weren't the same people that we were when we left. Like that was our first, we were out for 6 weeks in an RV that kept breaking. Six people living under the same roof, and it was beautiful.
there should have been a lot of GoPros
Oh
filming a
my
reality
gosh.
show because that shit would
It
have went
was
bananas,
great.
dude.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad in the end that you got your RV working and that you were able to stop at the Toronto show.
Oh, we weren't missing it.
We
That was
didn't, what's crazy, we didn't miss one show the whole tour. I don't know if you know the full lore of how we made it to that show, but our RV, like the slides that come out, on the sides, it
Yeah.
got stuck, right? So I wake up to everything's broken, us five or six of us trying to push it back in. It wouldn't go in. There was no other manual
because we
way.
can't drive with them out, obviously. Also, we're in another country.
Right.
Like
We're
for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, we're like, we're not getting pulled over with the thing
Oh,
out
there's
going in.
the
It's Toronto.
Americans
Yeah,
driving
the
with their
idiot
slides
Americans.
out.
Yeah. And so everyone at this RV park, and we're 2.5 hours from the venue, starts kind of coming together and being like, what's going on? Like, so kind. And this man, Sean Corey, shout out Sean Corey, goes, I have a minivan, like, I'll drive you to the show. And I was like, what do you
So we
mean?
drove 2.5 hours. We
With
got to the
Sean.
show in Toronto with 30 minutes before we hit the stage.
Like,
We
no
no
sound
sound
check. It was
check.
just
I
like,
just threw up our shit and we were like, all right, let's
That's
go.
planned.
that's awesome.
And
That's
then we met
awesome.
you.
And now
So
and now Sean's coming to our Detroit show,
yeah, Sean's
Oh,
which is
coming.
that's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So, for my next question here, when creating music, what are some things or like experiences that you draw inspiration from?
Man, li honestly, this is gonna sound maybe generic, but living and living life with people that you really love and adore, and also simultaneously, I reflect a lot on, and I know Ad does too, and we both do together, but the human condition is so interesting because we're all so much more similar than we'd like to believe, or we'd like to have these like divisions of who is who and what is what, and so polarizing. But we all deal with grief, we all deal with sadness, we all deal with these extremes of being on the spinning rock, and we kind of walk around like we're the only people on earth dealing with it. And so I kind of love crafting lyrically things that like we all go through that maybe we don't all just talk about, but when it's in a song, it's like acceptable to like reminisce on and feel and understand, while also rocking out and like having a good time. It's really creating the space to feel however the fuck you need to feel,
Yeah.
and that's why I love live music and being able to write these songs.
That's most of what comes through us, what something that's happening right now, something that's we went through separately or together, and just how crazy life is. As artists, I feel like we spend more time alone with our thoughts than somebody who is working a more traditional job. So that being said, that means that we like face things and feel things a little more, I feel like.
Yeah, and then it's like bottling up the expression and making it make sense, and then putting a title on it and letting the world hear it, and whoever's supposed to resonate with it, cool. And if you don't, cool. It's if I drink chamomile tea, not everybody does. That's okay, but I'm still gonna make it because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people as creatives, they get discouraged at the beginning, and I know we did at the beginning, because somebody will say something, you get the keyboard warriors and the internet trolls that want to come out and say not so nice things, and you kind of gotta be tough and have thick skin and kind of go, well, I like what I'm making, and if I build it, they'll come. And now the world is being built. So cool.
Awesome. All right. So for my next one here, it's what would you say the most difficult challenge about the music industry has been for you, and how do you overcome it?
The toughest thing in the business of music is that no one will care as much as you do about your project. And when you're fully in it, it is your whole life. Like this is what Ray and I do every day, 24/7, We
Yeah.
try to carve out time to
To
be
not do it.
human beings, but so that's hard to accept. Um, and just there are honest people in the music industry, but I know both of us have previously in our lives, come across people that their intentions are pure, but sometimes they don't know what they're saying to a young artist. Uh, the cliche like, oh my God, we're gonna blow this up, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's awesome. But when it's your whole life, it's you go like this a lot.
It's a roller
And I'm
coaster.
grateful for that though too, because now we are who we are now in life,
Yeah.
and being able to deal with it in such a different way.
Yeah.
A lot of heartbreak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of like, I mean, heartbreak's a great word for it, just up and down. I think the hardest two parts is the hardest is the unpredictability, just in any creative space. But that's also like kind of the thrill of it, is the unpredictability that anything can happen at any moment. And because of that, that's how things started happening for us, and us gaining some momentum was like those things either online or at a show that you don't anticipate, and then all of a sudden you sell something out, or or you get put on something crazy, or a tweet goes that you didn't even tweet, and so that thrill of it is really exciting, but also challenging when nothing's moving, or when you feel like you're having a lull. Simultaneously, just as a girl in rock, a woman in music in general. There's a whole other, slew of challenges that I've had to move through and heal from and learn from. And one day when the Ray memoir is out, that'll be another thing. But you just got to keep going. Like shit's gonna happen to you. And like a mantra that I feel like I think about a lot is like feel the pain and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Feel the fear and do it anyway. Feel whatever it is that it is and show up regardless because it's just gonna continue to happen whether you pick a safer, whatever that means, safer route or more creative route.
We spent so much time when one of us was feeling that like, what the fuck are we doing this for type of feeling. And the other person would have to be like, when it was just us, being like, no, we have something here and we just need to keep going and we just need to put our next foot in front of the next
Do the next thing,
and
the next
eventually,
thing.
be I feel like once we found the sound and what it looked like and the whole world, then it was like, okay, now we just do this. But it's a lot of perseverance.
Do you have any pre-show rituals before going on stage?
I usually just humidify and have some throat coat tea and take some deep breaths, but I do walk out on the stage like the exact same way every single time, or at least I did this last run. And just doing that gives me like, oh, I'm in my zone and it kind of
And
keeps
we
me in
do
my
our group,
yeah, we do our group prayer,
we do a little prayer
a little
huddle,
prayer, a little
and
huddle
then our intro is Frank Sinatra. So Ray and I are off stage dancing to
to
Frank Sinatra.
rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And for my final question here, if you could collaborate with any three artists, alive or dead, who would they be and why?
I'll just say my own, maybe our own, or do you
Yeah.
want to do three together?
You do your
Whatever.
own.
Okay, I'm gonna do my own because I love John Lennon so much, and he's not obviously not here, and it would be insane to write a song with John just for like over tea on an afternoon. I don't even know what I would
I would
do.
definitely collaborate with Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, that would be like somebody who's not here. Now I feel like it would be really sick. I would love to collaborate with Pierce the Veil. I feel like
Yeah.
that would be
Yes.
mental. They're incredibly talented live. They're great songwriters. They seem like really great
I would love
humans.
to do a song with Billy Joe
Yeah, like Green Day
or Billy
vibes.
Joel, either
Yeah,
one.
either one. And also I'll say Sum 41 because we got to open for them in January and it was insane. It was bonkers and they were one of the best live bands I've
Yes.
ever seen. They're so tight. They've been playing together forever. Derek Whibley's an insane frontman. Everyone does their job at the highest level and the songwriting's always there. It would be so cool to collaborate with them.
Awesome. That's sweet. So I wanna thank you guys for coming on and having this nice talk, this nice interview with me today. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, this has been
Thank
awesome.
you for
Yeah,
taking the time.
sweet. Thank
Awesome,
you
man.
so much.
Yeah,
We
thank you.
appreciate you. Have a great day. Have a good weekend.
Same to
And
you.
we'll see y'all soon.
See ya.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.